Hello and welcome to another live episode of Euro Happy Hour Last Orders, and we're live. That will never get old.
You said it complete. You said it completely. It's Euro 2020 Happy Hour Last Orders.
Well, I had to rewrite it, didn't I? Because I lost all the write-up, so I knew I was going to fuck up somewhere.
You
So
fucked up your script.
With myself, Sham, otherwise known as FPL 2 Guys 1 Cup on Twitter.
And myself, Rob, otherwise known as FPL Panda.
Rob, we've got two guests tonight, and they are from the Fantasy Championship podcast, Jamie and Angus. Welcome, boys.
Thank you for having us.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah,
awesome.
Good, thanks.
Nice. Thanks for joining us, boys. Right, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do, where you are, and all of that jazz. Jamie, do you want to go first?
Yeah, of course. So we're at EFL_fantasy. If nobody knows who we are, we basically do a podcast for Gaffer, the Championship Fantasy game. So we do roughly 2 podcasts a week on that, covering everything that you need for Gaffer, really. And to be fair, we're the only one out there really who's just Gaffer specific. So if you do play or are interested in playing, we're probably the account to follow because we post team news, injury news, any kind of information that we can get. We post on Twitter. I've also got a WhatsApp group. It's a bit of a Planet FPL knockoff. It's got the correspondence, a fan from each team in there. So they're providing us information to use just to give the listeners a chance of doing well. That's who I am. And then obviously Angus is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Angus. I'm at Angus81 on Twitter. I started helping out on the podcast about probably 2/3 of the way through the season when Rob, Jamie's original co-host, his wife had a baby, so he had less time for it, and then it turned into a permanent gig. So here I am.
Nice. So was it an accident, basically, or not the baby? Not the baby.
I think it was just. I think originally Jamie was looking for help, and I was either the keenest or the one with least going on in their life. So that's where it started, really.
So basically, Jamie's way of saying you're boring. Like it.
Yeah.
Very nice of you, Jamie.
Right, boys, thank you very much for joining. So it'll be nice to have you on. I know Rob joined you for a pre-Euro 2020 kind of podcast, didn't he? I know you couldn't get the better half of the happy hour. It's fine. But next time I'll come on instead of Rob. Right.
We'll have a look at the league table later, and we'll see about that
at the end. Right. Let's do some reviews then. So, agenda for tonight, guys, is we're going to review the last 6 games from match day 2 so far. Rob's then gonna do the pictures, which we still haven't got a name for. So we still need a name for. I don't know really what to call it other than the pictures.
Pandas
section.
pictures. Pandas pictures section.
Oh, that's a good one. There you go. Pandas pictures section, where Rob will show some photos that people have taken and ones that we like. I did put some in there, but Rob wouldn't allow me to put them in there.
We can maybe describe them for the viewers, but I just wasn't happy to show them.
We'll then go through our teams, how we're doing so far, and then a Q&A at the end. So about 5 minutes before we're ready to start the Q&A, I'll ask in the chat if you guys want to pop your questions in, and then we'll cover it at the end. Right, so let's start off with the first game of match day 2, and that was Finland versus Russia. And Angus, you're going to talk us through this game. What was your thoughts, fancy assets, etc.? Talk away.
Yeah, so going into it, I thought Finland would probably edge it. Obviously, it was hard to read them after their game against Denmark. But I thought, given how poor Russia were against Belgium, that I wasn't really expecting much from them. I think the biggest thing with this game was they then changed the formation back to their normal formation. So I think what surprised a lot of people was in the Belgium game, they put a 4 at the back, played a 4 at the back, which they haven't done very often. And I think against Finland, they went back to the back three or back 5, which made a big difference for them, I think. And then they brought in Miranchuk to play as the sort of second striker or number 10, and he made a massive difference. It was quite a tight game, but just that extra quality in and around Juba, I think, ultimately made the difference for Russia. The chances were very even. The Finnish forward, Poyen Palo, obviously had the goal disallowed, which probably would have been a fair reflection of the game if that had stood. But I think it was just that one moment of quality from Miranchuk off a 1-2 off Juba, which made the difference in the end.
Yeah, I think like we had Fernandez go off injured after like 25 minutes. A lot of people took the gamble of Fernandez, including myself. I captained him, and I was fuming when he got injured. What happened? What was his prognosis in the end? Was it like a
So I think it was
fractured
like
vertebrae or something?
a spinal injury, fractured
Yeah, I
vertebrae.
hope he's
I
all
think
right.
it's a fractured vertebrae. I think he's definitely out of the tournament now, which is a shame
Oh
because
wow.
if they do go through, like if they make it through to round of 16, he could have been maybe one of those budget assets to have in your team, but
Yeah.
not to be.
Jamie, what are your thoughts on this game? Any additional comments or thoughts on any fantasy assets?
Fancy assets, absolutely none. I've got no interest in either of them. I didn't before the game. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game. The 2 o'clocks I'm finding difficult to watch because I'm at work at the time. I do take my tablet in, and if I think the game's worthy of watching, I'll try and watch as much as I can. But I'll be honest, I gave this one a skip.
Rob?
Nothing more to add on it really. It was a shame that there was like Finland had the early goal, and it might have been a different game, but I think Russia just showed that they have got a lot of players playing in at a reasonable standard. They're not the team they were 3 years ago, but they're still a lot better than Finland. Although I think Finland could be proud of the performance, and they can go into that last game against Belgium. Just if they can hold on and grab a point, or keep it down to another 1-0 loss, I think they've still got that chance to like sneak through into the round of 16.
Is there anyone from Denmark, Russia, that we should be looking at against Denmark for match day 3, or not really?
I don't think so. Maybe someone like Moranchuk, if he's still going to play, because he looked to be getting in really dangerous areas. But Juba, I don't like. I think he got a bit lucky to get an assist because the plan seemed to be lump it up to him and hope someone got the second ball. So I don't think there's anyone really from them to be looking at.
Okay, let's look at the next game then, and that was Turkey and Wales. Or are we going by group order, Rob?
We'll go in the order that they were played.
Okay, so Turkey Wales was the next one, and Rob, you were looking at this one. What was your thoughts on this game?
The Welsh were brilliant. Like, I think it was like chalk and cheese. Like the way that they played against Switzerland, where, like I said last week, I was really disappointed with them. But they were brilliant against Turkey. The high press was really good, and it was like non-stop. They didn't give the Turkish midfield much chance to really get creative. Kahanoglu was almost
Hakan.
was almost non-existent really in the game. If the Welsh took their chances, they could have had 3 or 4. Like obviously, Bale missed a penalty as well. I thought it was brilliant at the end that you had Robbie Savage. I mean, he's a hopeless commentator. He's awful to watch, but he was like shouting at them, "Get yourself, like, take the ball into the corner," and I'm screaming at the TV as well, like, "What are you doing?" And then Bale, who'd tried it a few times, like cut inside along the touchline, and then played that ball back into Connor Roberts, who put it home. I think overall Wales, deserved the win. Turkey, who I know that you had high hopes for pre-tournament. It seems like anyone that you have high hopes for just falls apart. They break vertebrae and lose games. And it was surprising. The atmosphere was very much a partisan crowd of Turkish fans, and I think the Welsh. I think they were brilliant, and looking into sort of match day 3, they've got to go to Rome. Could we see them get something from Rome. I can't see them winning, but could we see them sneaking a point if the Italians put out a second string? Possibly. I still think they'll do quite well to go deep into the tournament now, so I'd be very wary of loading up on players heading into the round of 16.
Okay, Jamie, what? Any other thought? Did you watch this game?
I've caught up on it. I was at cricket for this one, so I caught up with this last night. Not much more to add on, but as a gaffer player, it was nice to see Sir Connor Roberts doing what he does best and getting forward in the 95th minute. That was nice to see.
Yeah,
Cooper
Autoroclo
Moore,
said all gaffer players should have owned Roberts. So the important question is, did you have Roberts in your side?
he's got a point. Yeah, he has got a point. When I called him Sir Connor Roberts all season, I think I should have owned him, really, shouldn't I?
Angus, I guess so. Wales, Turkey. Who are they playing next? They're playing Switzerland. Wales are playing Italy. Any assets that you'd be looking at from either of those sides?
Well, unfortunately, because we opened it up to Twitter before the tournament for each of us to have a triple up, the kind people of Twitter voted for me to have a Turkey triple up, which we thought was going to be great and has been an absolute disaster.
Oh, shit.
So, okay. So I have to find the 3 least bad of those, which is a challenge at the moment. I think with Wales, though, I think we saw, I guess, the platonic ideal of Aaron Ramsey, that this is sort of the point of Aaron Ramsey, getting those runs in behind, breaking into those great positions, getting those chances. His finishing can be a bit hit and miss, but if he's going to be getting into those positions, I think Aaron Ramsey is someone who might be sort of a sneaky outside pick, outside of the obvious one of Bale.
Rob, is there anyone from Turkey you would pick against Switzerland?
No, I think it's the short answer. I think at the end of that game, the Turkish player, they just looked. So I mean, I know they'd just been beaten quite convincingly, but they looked defeated. And there was nothing where you'd go, "Oh, would I give them a shout?" They could come out and the Swiss haven't really impressed either, so they could come out and go, right, they've still got an outside chance, but they'd probably have to knock the Swiss for 4 or 5. But they could come out and really go for it. But I wouldn't be banking on any Turkish players. I actually worked out earlier that if Wales lose to Italy 3-0 and the Swiss beat Turkey 2-0, we'd see the group, the positions decided on their UEFA ranking.
Oh wow, Jesus!
Because the goal difference, the goals for, and all the head to head, all be exactly tied. So that would be their UEFA ranking that would put the Swiss in second and Welsh third.
Wow. Interesting. Right, let's look at the next game, and this was a very impressive performance by Italy. Italy 3, Switzerland 0. Angus, what were your thoughts on this one? Angus?
Oh, it's still there. Yep.
Were you looking at this one? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. What were your thoughts on this game?
I thought I was very impressed by Italy again. I thought, obviously, the impressive thing with them is that almost it feels like the performance starts from the anthem, where unlike pretty much any other country, they get really into the anthem. It fires them up from the start, and they're ready to go. I thought they were obviously great again. I thought Switzerland would be able to maybe make it a bit more difficult for them, and Italy just basically took them apart right from the start. I thought it was interesting that you have Locatelli get 2 goals, who was supposed to be keeping the spot in the side warm for Marco Verratti. So when you think about it, that he was supposed to be a backup, seeing performances like that obviously shows the depth they have. And then Chiellini's injury could be a concern for them, depending on how long he's out for. Obviously, it looked like he was fairly comfortable walking off, but still be concerned about that. And then Immobile getting a goal at the end when the Swiss decided to just let him shoot with no one within about 10 yards of him was obviously very generous of them. In terms of then the other main fantasy assets, I guess, you had Spinazzola looked good again, getting forward, getting involved. And Berardi and Insigne, I thought Berardi always looks like he's on the verge of making something happen, but he got an assist. But I think he's also possibly one of the most frustrating players in the game. He's had the most shots, I think it's 7 without hitting the target. And you could even see at times teammates like Insigne and Immobile getting frustrated when he would shoot rather than giving them the ball, which as an Insigne owner also drove me mad during the game. But all in all, I think you could look at almost anyone from this Italy team. Switzerland, no real interest, even though they're playing Turkey, who haven't been very good.
Yeah, I guess the tough thing is for the Wales game is, do you think that they will start with a strong lineup, and which players do you pick, or do you know, because a lot of people are looking at a wild card for match day 3, so it's kind of, who do you end up picking from Italy, who's going to start? I think we have the advantage where they play at the same time. I think it's before the match day 3 start. Is that right?
Yeah, I think they're the first ones, aren't they?
Yeah, so I guess we can choose. Jamie, will you be looking at anyone from Italy to target for the Italy-Wales game, or do you think that's going to stay away?
I'm already on a trip up. That was from my match day 1 squad. Just looking at it now. Tell you, I know I'm on a double. I'm on Bonucci and Berardi. If I was on a wild card, it's hard to say because, like you said, they qualified now. How heavy will they rotate? We don't really know, and that's why I'm quite against using the wild card, because I don't want to use it and end up wasting it when we're going to get basically a wild card to go into the round of 16. So, I mean, if you're looking to get some men and you're just going on form only, Spinazzola is obviously a standout, Immobile, and then maybe like Donnarumma, but it's hard to call, isn't it?
Yeah, Rob, I know this is slightly going away from the review of Italy, but someone's put on the chat, because I did mention about potential wildcard. Joel has said, I don't see the merit in a wildcard. Team news is far too predictable. I guess, unpredictable.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Just because my thoughts are, they're right, it is unpredictable. However, going back to your match day 1 side versus what you will have now is probably, there's not going to be a lot of starters.
I'd have the problem of my triple up of Ronaldo, Bernardo, and Cancelo. I'd have to sort that out. So I'm kind of, I'd be losing a player, more or less, for that. So I think there's still teams that you can target. I mean, in this group, I think Embolo could be someone to go for in that last game, knowing that the Swiss need a result against Turkey. So he might be, and we saw in match day 1 that he does put himself about in the box, and he was really bullying the Welsh defence in match day 1. So maybe, some, like, you have to pick and choose your game. You're not going to be going for, like, you're not going to have a team full of star players, but if you pick and choose the right teams, I think you could have it'd be very differential almost, because you'll have a lot of value players there. So yeah, in that
we'll
way,
discuss that more in the Q&A. I think we've
yeah,
got a few questions
in
on
that way, yeah, Switzerland and Imbolo could be a good option.
Joshua in the chat said Insigne is a really annoying asset to own. Drop deep and never made an attempt to attack the back post. I didn't watch the game, so Rob, do you have any comment on that?
He was dropping deep. My big concern was Spinazzola. Without Chiellini there, so before Chiellini went off injured, Spinazzola was flying up and down the wing like we saw last week. And then Chiellini came off and Achabi came on, and it was almost like there was like a chain put on Spinazzola to say, "You're not fucking going all the way up there and spending the whole game up there." He was kind of became a bit more conservative. He still got forward, but it was nowhere near as much as we saw against Turkey on Friday. So it's something that I'd flag. I don't think. I'm not sure whether. I think Spinazzola is one of these players that will probably get rested. I think he's very important to them moving into the round of 16.
Okay, let's look at the next game, and that was Ukraine and North Macedonia today. Rob, you're reviewing this one. What are your thoughts?
It was.
I've just got one thought just before we start. Go on, Ryan. Yarmolenko.
In the first half, Ukraine were really impressive, and I thought this is going to be a goal fest. After the second goal went in, I thought, here we go. This is goals, goals, goals. But they came out in the second half, and I think in the second half, Macedonia were probably the better side. They fought really hard, and then they got the penalty. Alioski missed, and then he scored, and that kind of woke Ukraine up a little bit, moving into the sort of last parts of the game. I would have liked to have seen them like keep their heads on and really sort of state their case in the tournament. But yeah, I just didn't see enough from them to go. I really want to stick with all of these players. I think Austria will give them a sterner test again. It will be slightly more even. They should beat them. It's very much a winner takes all matchup in that final match day. So it is a game that you might want to like get one or two in for, but I don't think I'd be trusting in Zinchenko. I think the Ukrainian defence did look a bit iffy at times, and with Zinchenko in as a defender in the game, I don't think he's He's very much like Alaba for Austria, where today kind of I didn't see him get forward and as much as I would have maybe liked for him to playing in that centre midfield role. But on the other hand, the two star men really, Yaremchuk and Yarmolenko. At least one of them will probably be in my match day 3 team, because I think they will score. It's just trying to pick which one will score more points.
Yeah, and Alioski finally got his penalty. Obviously, he missed it and then scored afterwards. And
Yeah.
a lot of us had Alioski match day 1, right?
Yeah, I think like we weren't. Obviously, you don't pick someone because you expect them to get a penalty. I think for a lot of people, it is a bit of trolling, and yeah, you kind of. I don't know. It was a very poor penalty. It was kind of keeper's height, but he kind of stayed alert, and that was another thing with the Ukrainian defence. They seemed to just all be asleep. Like the penalty got taken, and there was like 5 Macedonian players like on the ball, and Alioski just managed to get there first. When really it should be just him and 5 Ukrainian players all on top of him, trying to either block the shot or put him off or something. But they're all like still standing on the edge of the box, like oh, there you go, it's gone in, and I think that just woke them up a little bit, and they kind of just played out the result after that.
And then obviously Malinovsky missed a penalty, and Yarmolenko was off the pitch at the time, so he didn't get to take it. Jamie, did you have any Ukrainian players?
No, I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't see the appeal in them. I know why people chose them because it was Macedonia, but I think I fell in the trap of just trying to get the most expensive players in, the big hitters, really on the limitless. So in hindsight, I wish I'd gone Yarmolenko, but it's easy to say that, isn't it? I didn't
Yeah.
fancy it before the game.
What about yourself, Angus?
So I had Zinchenko and Yarmolenko, and
Nice.
playing the game really well, I decided I wanted to captain a Ukrainian and captain Zinchenko rather than Yarmolenko.
Well, you're in good company with Rob. He did the same thing.
Yeah, despite what Twitter told me. I thought, I mean, in all honesty, and like I'll touch on it, like I thought it was with other captaincy players to come, it was a good day to just roll the dice on someone, especially if you had an Italian player that didn't return last night. Yeah, it was. So I had Insigne, didn't return. It was a good day to roll the dice, knowing that I've got two more captaincy options along the line that should provide returns. Touch wood.
Right, let's look at the next fixture, and that was Belgium and Denmark today. Really good game, I thought. Jamie, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I missed the first 10 minutes or so as I was travelling in from work, so I'd obviously missed a goal. I come in, saw 1-0 and immediately thought Belgium had got an early goal, so that quite surprised me. But then watching the game, it was a game of two halves, really. I thought Denmark were really, really good in the first half. They matched Belgium in formation, so it was kind of a 5-2-3. And they just won everything. I thought Thomas Delaney was unbelievable in the first half. Him and Højbjerg ran that midfield, really. They were warriors. Belgium just didn't look like they played together before. And I've seen that before in certain qualifiers. They'll just have that odd game where they just a bunch of individuals, not a team. But second half, De Bruyne came on and then completely different game. De Bruyne was obviously class, great goal, got the assist as well, which was a great goal. But then Lukaku turned into world class again as soon as De Bruyne had come on. Eden Hazard then came on, so Denmark must have been thinking, Jesus, what have we got to do here? They were just running the show. I'm a bit annoyed as a Carrasco owner that Hazard ran on to the goal because Carrasco was just waiting there.
Yeah.
And I didn't even see Hazard come onto the screen. He just come in from nowhere like Harry Potter. So that was annoying.
I love that.
De Bruyne's goal was absolutely class on his left foot. I think Schmeichel probably could have done a bit better, but let's not take anything away from De Bruyne. Game of two halves. I think if you look at the stats, if you haven't watched the game, you'd think Denmark have battered them if you were just looking at the shots, but it was a game of two halves, and I think Denmark will be confident going into the next game. Who have they got in the last one? It's Russia and Sis. We know how poor they are. I think Denmark will be okay. They'll get the win. And then I obviously expect Belgium to beat Finland with their B team if they fully rotate.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've got a couple of questions about Belgium in the chat, and just for match day 3 specifically. And I guess we'll cover that in the Q&A. But first thoughts, I guess Belgium are playing Finland. KDB came on in the second half. Is it likely that he starts? Is that a Belgian triple up there, Rob? What do you think? You are going for a wild card, I guess.
I think it could be for them, knowing that they've put their place in the next round. They're probably, almost definitely going to finish top of the group. I think it's a perfect opportunity for them for Eden Hazard to start. I think he was quite impressive when he came on in the second half. He showed like little glimpses of what we know from him in Chelsea. There was one moment it was probably about a minute after he came on, and he got the ball into his feet. He jinked past 3 Danish players, and he was away. And it was just like, wait a minute, this is not the Eden Hazard we were expecting to come on. He looked like he was starting to build a confidence, and I think, in that last fixture, it's just a perfect opportunity for them to give him that run out and have a go. But on the other hand, Lukaku, I think may get a little rest KDB, I think, he's a lock to start. Get him on, get him some minutes. He'll play an hour. He'll go and get 6 assists and a goal, and then he'll come off. I'm definitely going to have Hazard and KDB, I think, in my match day 3 team.
Yeah. One other thing to note on this, and David said this in the chat, and we forgot to mention it. The crowd and both teams giving a standing ovation to Eriksen was a lovely thing. I thought that was great to see. They also sung "You Never Walk Alone" before the game, which I thought was fantastic. I think really, really good support for Eriksen there by both teams, which is good to see. You don't often see that in football, right? And so, when something as bad as what happened on Saturday happens, and two teams coming together and I guess supporting, it's nice to see.
Yeah, I think. I mean, even after the game, you could see it was very emotional for everyone. Like I saw, like Lukaku going up to Schmeichel, giving him a hug, and to Kajaya, giving him a hug, like having some words, and like you could just see it was kind of like the battle's done right now, like just showing that respect for each other. I thought, it was just a brilliant moment. Goosebumps when they kind of stopped playing and the crowd were all on their feet, giving the applause, and the players were all clapping and everything. And it was just a nice moment. It just shows that people have their negatives about football. And they will always have their negatives, but that's one of the great things. I think it's very much a community feel, especially amongst professionals in the game.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like the chat has exploded to a song of Rob. I'll let you sing it. What is love? Don't hurt me no more. What's the next line, Rob? Do you want to sing it for
I
us?
think the next line is just "What is love." What is love?
I feel like singing it, but my voice is atrocious, so I don't want to scare off the viewers. Right, let's move on to the next game, and that is a final game, which is Netherlands and Austria this evening. And Jamie, you looked at this one again. What was your thoughts on the game?
Quite disappointed by Austria, if I'm honest with you. Before the game, I'd have probably said Holland to win it, but quite close. I expected Austria to have a go at them, and they didn't. They matched Holland in formation, so both teams played a 5-2-3, same as the Denmark and Belgium game.
Sorry, Jamie. Sorry to interrupt. Just quickly, you were telling me before we went on air. You watched this in a tactical view on BBC, right?
Yeah, so I'd only found this out tonight. I didn't know they did it, but they've got it in a tactical cam. So if you go on the red button, you can watch it. So you're watching it from a high camera from behind one of the goals, so you can see the whole pitch. So I found that really interesting. So I was watching that quite closely.
You had your pundit head on with your notepad, watching tactical cam. And...
I'd love to say I had my notepad there, but some of our listeners who are in the chat, I think, will know that I definitely would not do that. But I was watching it quite closely, and I picked up on a few things I probably wouldn't have noticed if I was watching it normally. We're on Austria, like Sabitzer, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Leipzig. He should have been in the front three, but he was having to drop really, really deep because they weren't having a lot of the ball. So then he was too far away. So Austria were never going to offer anything. So that was disappointing. But Holland, though, very professional performance. Obviously, I know a lot of the viewers will have had Dumfries in their fantasy team, so fair play to them. I kind of ruled him out after watching him in game week 1, or match day 1, shall we say. I thought, yes, he plays quite high, but I don't rate him that much as a player. I was completely wrong. He basically didn't really track back. He was just stood there on the right wing for a lot of the game. He's a must-have, really, pick for Holland at the moment, I think, just for attacking returns. Gini Wijnaldum deserves a shout-out because he was unbelievable. He was actually playing on the right of the front three, just behind Weghorst with Depay. But he would then drop into an 8, and then he'd drop into a 4 role. And the next thing you know, they're on the attack, and you think, "Where's Wijnaldum gone?" And he's in the box again, and I'm like, "How's he got there already?"
He's just got so much energy, isn't he? He's brilliant.
And he was pressing around the 80th minute. You know, the game's comfortable. They'd made the subs. They were seeing the game out. Wijnaldum didn't see it like that. He was pressing on his own. He ended up being the furthest man forward, which I found quite interesting when they'd made the subs. So I think he's a really good option in this game. He's a completely different player too for when he plays for Liverpool, sorry. But other than that, I just thought disappointing Austria, professional by Holland, and yeah, that's about it really. It was one of them games where it was just comfortable for Holland.
Again, like you mentioned Dumfries, Joshua's put it in the chat, he's been the asset of the tournament, and I have to agree so far. He's got to be. Game week 1, what did he get? 10 points, was it?
Yeah, I think he's on. What must he got? What, 13 tonight?
14 tonight.
14 tonight. So he's on 24 points
Wow.
already. It's
Wow.
insane. I know we haven't got the points updated here, but as of this morning, the highest was Locatelli on 17, which is, yeah, for someone to be on 24 points from 2 games. This is craziness. I mean,
so I guess the important question though is, similar to the Belgium question, going 2-3 against Finland. Do we do the same against North Macedonia for Netherlands? And who's going to play? That's the problem. Is Dumfries going to play? Is Depay going to play? Are those assets Wijnaldum going to play? That's the question that everyone's kind of thinking about. Angus, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I think probably similar to sort of Belgium, and probably similar for Italy, is I think they'll look to find a balance between giving some of these guys a game off, but not too many. I think it also depends, particularly with them, where the sort of quality backups are. So I think particularly in the attacking areas, the guys could get a rest where they've got guys like Marlon, like Berghaus ready to come in. That's where they might rotate guys. But with some of the other spots, like Dumfries, he might stay in the team because
he's on fire.
They don't have, he's on fire, and they don't have the same sort of options there. So he may well stay in. So he could be a good option where some of those attackers could well be rotated for the third game.
Yeah, Rob, who are you looking at for this game for Netherlands, North Macedonia? Your early thoughts?
Triple up on Macedonia, isn't it? No. Yeah, I think this is a tricky one. Like, I think even like we have said about before, the Dutch team being a bit susceptible to a shock result, but they've kind of like just plodded their way through the first 2 games, got 2 results, but it's a tricky one. I'd like to be able to go, yeah, let's back Weghorst again, or let's back Depay again. But I don't know whether they even Depay, whether he starts. I think Wijnaldum might still start because he's the captain, and because he has just been so influential. It'd be, but I don't think you'd get more than 60, 70 minutes from him. It might maybe be one that you kind of just leave alone, and look elsewhere. That's just my thoughts.
I think as well, after watching it, there's only 2 assets I'd actually want with a full strength team, and that's Wijnaldum and Dumfries. I don't think Depay's that good of an option, really. He kind of just floats about round the left. He can produce a bit of magic, we know that, but from the 2 games, I haven't seen that yet, and I think he'll be rotated. I'm just looking through the bench now from tonight, who I think could possibly play. I think Timber and Ake could possibly come into the back 3 and replace 2 of the 3 that played tonight. I can't imagine them playing Joel Veltman instead of Dumfries, because he just doesn't offer the same kind of play. So I can't imagine that. I think Wijnaldum will start, but you could see Gravenberch come in for Frenkie de Jong, possibly, and then probably Malen and Berghaus come in, and maybe Luke de Jong, possibly. But it's hard to call. It's so hard.
I think it's a really tough one, especially with a team that was so out of form in like the spring internationals and coming into the tournament. Whether De Boer goes, why should I like try and treat it as a friendly opportunity where he might stick like pretty much the best side he can out and then make 3 subs at half time and then make another 2 later on and just change it up that way and just try and work on things tactically in that first half. But on the other hand, he could just go all out and switch it all up.
A few people in the chat are saying that Windale might start with PVA not starting all 3.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Windale. Right, okay, so that is the review all wrapped up, all 6 games done and dusted, and now it's time for what is now called Panda's Pictures.
Pictures.
So, Rob, I will let you take it away, mate.
Well, we've only got a quick one. I combined two of them because like the big news story from the last couple of days has been Mr. Ronaldo with his Agua and Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola's share price dropped by like 4 billion overnight the other night.
What happened? Explain this to me. I didn't see this.
So you didn't see it?
No.
Oh well.
So basically, no, you can see in Pogba's picture, he's got the 2 bottles of Coca-Cola sitting there, and so Ronaldo picked up the 2 bottles, like he just like looked at them in the way that he looks at stuff in disgust. He looked at them, just picks him up, puts them like off camera to the side, picks up his bottle of water, holds it up, and he's like, Agua. Basically saying, Coke's bad for you, but water's good. Although, I think it was like a while back, he was like the face of Coca-Cola. Before, I think now he's Pepsi.
He is.
So yeah, I'm wondering whether Pepsi gave him a shit ton of money just to do that. And then Pogba, on the other hand, because he's obviously a devout Muslim, and lots of footballers don't drink anyway. He did the same with the 0 alcohol bottle of Heineken that was put in front of him. He picked it up and stuck it off to the side and just went no alcohol like that. But to be fair, the bottle was no alcohol. So I think Pogba was just being Pogba. Ronaldo's had his moment. Let's like Paul Pogba needs to have his moment as well. So I can't believe you hadn't even seen about that.
Nope.
It was
no idea.
It was huge news. I think overnight Coca-Cola on Wall Street, their share price dropped by 4 billion, but it's only like it's like 1%, so it's not a huge amount. Then the next picture we have up is a drummer. I'm assuming is Macedonian, and he'd gone like so mental on his drum that he broke it. But I think in the video he's still banging. Right, should be back live any second. Are we back on?
Yeah, we should be live now. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. I think we're live now.
Yep, it's working. Right, so
so go on.
Drummer boy. We've done that. We don't need to talk about Macedonia anymore. And then finally, we've got a video that was beautifully created by one of our followers and good friends, David Strom, who's rapidly becoming like our chief meme creator. But he's created this video. We won't be able to hear the sound, but the viewers will. But it doesn't need the sound. I think it's beautiful as it is. So here we go.
I can't even.
Can dikkatli. Bale geliyor. Bale geldi. Bale dışarı attı. Bale dışarı attı. 1-0 devam. Can
Give it
dikkatli.
another quick
Bale
play.
geliyor.
I mean, I know
Bale
what
geldi.
happened.
Bale
It's just
dışarı
so
attı.
quick.
Bale dışarı attı.
Oh,
1-0 devam.
David Marshall.
Craig, was it Craig Marshall? I kept calling him the other night.
David Marshall. David Marshall.
Can dikkatli.
Yeah,
Bale
coming
geliyor.
in and,
Bale geldi.
we
Bale
pinged
dışarı
Bale's
attı. Bale
penalty
dışarı
away.
attı.
That was horrific
1-0 devam.
from him. Like normal, you'd expect so much better from him, but he just didn't look confident at all. Like setting himself up, and then he's just kind of just leaned back on it completely as he struck it. Yeah, horrendous. Don't let him take any more penalties. Give him to Connor Roberts.
yeah.
Yeah, Connor Roberts
Right.
on penalties. That's all. Just jump. Everyone pile in on him.
Panda's pictures finished.
Yep. What's next?
Our teams.
Our teams.
Oh God.
Right, if you guys can start putting in your questions. I know there was a load of questions asked at the top, which I will start from the top, but if there's any additional ones that aren't at the top, write them in below, and once we finish going through our teams, we will answer those questions for you. Right, go on then, Rob.
So I believe this is Jamie to start with.
Yeah, unfortunately.
How's your week gone so far, Jamie?
Well, as you can see from the points at the top, 31 points so far. Not so good. I did start off really well with the triple Italian defence. I thought that was a masterstroke by myself. I then changed the captain from Spinazzola to Lukaku, who returned me a blank. Wijnaldum, 3-pointer, probably had a few chances tonight. And then obviously I've got my triple Macedonia in there, which for the viewers who are wondering or who have joined after and wondering why I've got triple Macedonia, that's just
because you really like them.
Yeah, but if we'd won and got through the groups, I'd have 100% bought a shirt, 100%. But I can't wait to get them out my team once they're eliminated.
Was it me that told you to go with triple Macedonia for the group stage?
No, that was the listeners I voted for that.
Oh, it was the listeners. The match day one.
You gave me Ukraine for match day 1 instead of match day 2. So thank you very much, Rob. And then I've had Germany for this week. So I've got Gnabry on the bench. I'm really hoping for Harry Kane, Mbappe, Pogba, Gnabry, and then Alba and Hernandez to save me this week, really, because it's gone so bad.
All right.
Is that a Dimitrievski 8-pointer as well, sitting? I mean, you weren't going to bench Donnarumma after a clean sheet, but yeah, it just kind of sums up the luck, doesn't it?
I'll be honest, even if Donnarumma just got a 2-pointer, I still wouldn't have benched him, so I can't do no. But I did take Pandav's goal last match day, so I was happy with that.
Who have you got? Do you have to have them as a triple up for match day 3 as well?
Yeah, and then once they're gone, once they're on the way home, no more Macedonia then.
Nice. Right.
I'm guessing you're going to be moving your captain tomorrow.
Oh no, I'm going to leave it on Lukaku.
Oh, you okay? I think there's only one player.
Harry Kane's going to get that tomorrow.
Cool.
Nice. Right, Angus, I think your team is next, mate.
Yeah, so obviously you can see my glorious Turkey triple up, who have scored a combined 3 points. Just amazing. The first game week, I think I had Celik, who I think got 2, Yazici, who got taken off at half time, so he got 1 point there as well. And I had Burak Yilmaz, who did nothing. This time I was like, well, it's not going to be so good, but like I'll get the sort of defensive double up. They might do something. No, Celik proceeds to give away a penalty. So that was sort of a great start. Obviously, I'd captained Spinazzola, took it off him today, picked the wrong Ukrainian. Meunier decided not to score into the open goal at the end of the game for Belgium.
Don't get me started.
I think there was 90% of fantasy managers from both the official game and fan team just screaming that goal into the net.
Yeah.
I was dancing on the spot because I knew it was going to. I was like, this is a goal, or at least he's going to just square it across the box once he gets so far, and I'm guaranteed points. I was dancing. Oh, I was so pissed off, honestly.
Yeah, I think my only player tomorrow is Jordan Pickford. And I've got Isak from Sweden tomorrow as well.
Nice. That's a nice differential. I like Isak.
Yeah, big fan of his. And I thought, even though Slovakia did quite well in match day 1, I thought Isak looks good against Spain, and you put him against a worse defence, decent chance he's going to return. And there weren't many of the other forwards that I thought, no, like he's definitely going to do better than Isak. So I thought that was a punt worth taking. And then obviously I've got the French triple up to come off the bench as well, which will probably be my two sort of outfield Turks, and then pick one of the many 2-pointers in my team to bench. So, so looking forward to that. Looking forward to captaining Mbappe. Might even captain Jordan Pickford tomorrow.
Just for the bants.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
You might as well.
Might as well.
Can't do much worse than
2 points.
yeah.
Oh, it could be.
let's not say that now. No, let's not say that now.
Just before we move on to Rob, your team, Jamie, I've just had a thought. So David is in the chat, and obviously he's the chief meme creator. You were on a North Macedonian triple up.
Yeah.
We saw from Rob tonight about that guy with a drum.
Okay.
David, do you reckon we can get Jamie's face on that guy's face? Because he was on a North Macedonian triple up. It only seems right that we get Jamie's face on that guy's face, and you can be the guy drumming the drum.
I'm going to try watch my expressions now for the rest of the show. This is a really bad one.
David, let us know in
Here
the
we
chat
go.
if you can make that happen.
Yeah,
I know
match
you're in
day
the chat,
3.
so let us know.
Match day 3.
Match
That Jamie's meme is going to be out there.
David, be nice, don't be a dick.
That only seems right? You were on the triple up after all.
Cheers, Sham.
Rob, right, let's look at your team, mate.
Yeah. Some of you may have seen that I put out a little poll for the captaincy today, because I really didn't know. It was either going to be Lukaku, Yarmolenko, or Zinchenko. I think Yarmolenko won the poll just, and Zinchenko was last, and I was like, fuck that, I'm just going to go Zinchenko and just have some fun with it. That did not work out. I should have gone with what the people said and gone with Yarmolenko. Malinovsky, I don't know how he did not have a return today. Like that guy just involved in absolutely everything that Ukraine did. And then he missed a penalty, so it was just complete 0-pointer from him. Meunier, like we just said, willing him to put the ball in the back of the net at the end there. That didn't happen. Lukaku assisted the assister on both goals, so that didn't happen. But I've got from last night, Donnarumma and Spinazzola clean sheets. I did joke and say, I'll be bringing off Insigne for because he'll be one of my low scoring players on 3 points. But yeah, at the moment, it looks like tonight I'll be doing Malinovsky to John Stones. Hopefully that goes well, and I'll be sticking the captaincy on Raheem Sterling for tomorrow, and hope, fingers crossed, 3-0 England and a brace from Sterling would go down quite nicely, I think.
Be nice, Rob. We've got a Scotsman here.
Okay, 2-0 England. Yeah, I'm quietly confident about tomorrow. I mean, maybe after we've gone through your team, Shane, we can just have a couple of minutes on that big game tomorrow, and
Yeah,
as we wrap up. So let's have a
yeah,
look at
cool.
you.
So I went with Fernandez captain yesterday, and obviously got a 1 pointer, which was disappointing. And then I decided to captain Yarmolenko today. It was between Yarmolenko and Dumfries, but I just thought there's more chance for Yarmolenko to score points against who did they play again? North Macedonia, than there was Dumfries against Austria. So yeah, I just went Yarmolenko, but happy to have Dumfries in my side. Other than that, pretty much the same as everyone else in terms of the players that are around. Limitless was very similar for everyone. Obviously, I've got Kane and Sterling to play. I did have Pickford, and he's on the bench, but there's no point me bringing him in for Donnarumma. He'll just stay on the bench.
He's
So
gonna
yeah,
say
Kane.
he's gonna save a penalty tomorrow, Jordan Pickford will.
Yeah, well, maybe, but then there's no point me risking that. So I'm just going to stick it as it is. So Kane, Sterling to go, and then obviously the triple up of France to go as well. So yes, not bad start this week, but I don't think I can make many gains on you, Rob, from this side, unless you don't have Kane, do you?
No, so yeah, that's the big one for you. So I'm guessing you're
Yeah,
probably you're captaining Kane, and yeah, if he goes off, then you
I'm not captaining Kane.
why not?
No,
Well,
I'm leaving it on Yarmolenko.
oh yeah, oh yeah, go and captain Kane.
No. I'm leaving it on Yarmolenko. There's no reason for me to take the armband off.
Well, he's
Um,
only got 20 points. He could easily get
yeah, that's
more
fine,
from
mate.
Kane. Um,
Yeah, so that's my side. Oh yeah, we'll see. Let's see what happens. Right, you want to talk about the England Scotland game? Go for that. And yeah, if you guys can just get your questions in, I think we've got about 6 or 7 from previously. We'll quickly cover them off. But yeah, go for it, Rob.
so I'm not going to say it's my source. FPL Thomas, who from the Man on Pod, those guys they're joining us on Monday night. But so he had a source on Sunday that gave him the correct lineup on Sunday morning, and he got some news this afternoon where his source said it's the same lineup but with Reece James and Luke Shaw, I believe it was, in the team. So you'd imagine that Reece James will be coming in for Walker, and Luke Shaw will be coming in for Trippier.
I wish I knew this before. I'd have put Reece James in my side.
Well,
I knew Kyle Walker in.
I think everyone would have brought in one of the England fullbacks if they knew who the fullbacks were definitely going to
Was
be.
yeah.
So, but we have also heard this evening that the likes of Maguire and Henderson completed full training sessions with the rest of the squad today. I think they had 2 training sessions today, and they did both of them. So I think that they might. I think it's a case. I don't think they'll start, but I think they'll make appearances. I just hope that England are not too comfortable too early, and like John Stones gets his 60 minutes with his clean sheet that he's definitely going to get. I mean, on that note, should we throw it out there just quick? What do we think the score's going to be tomorrow?
I think it'll be 2-0 England.
To New England, Jamie?
I'll be generous, 3-0 England.
Angus?
Well, that's come down because he predicted 4-0 when we did the pod the other day. So
He's getting nervous.
yeah.
It'll be only 2-0 by this time. Well, not by this time tomorrow.
Well,
By
if he
kickoff.
beats us, you'll never hear Angus on our podcast again because they are blocking.
I think I'll go with the same prediction I made the other day. 2-0 England.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
2 or 3-0. I mean, it was quite interesting. I saw Leonardo Bonucci, his press conference, and they asked him, so the Italian centre half, who has most impressed you out of the tournament so far? And he said England look like they're one of the top sides that are up there to really fight. And the way that we did perform on Sunday, it was just very professional. So I think it'll be cagey, but I think once England get a lead, I think they could then walk away with it. I don't think it'll be like the Croatia game where it was get that lead and then just make sure, like, just play it it was very safe and not too many risks. Whereas I think they might be more inclined to go for the throat maybe against the Scottish side that do look a bit weaker at the back than what the Croatians would have offered on Sunday.
Okay, right. Shall we cover these questions now, Rob?
Yep.
Okay, right.
Fire through them.
First question is from Auto Reclose. We'll do these like quick fire. So I'll just ask one of you what you think. I'll just randomly pick you. So first question is from Auto Reclose. Early thoughts on a German double up for game week 3. Jamie? Against Hungary. They're playing Hungary.
Yes, but I'd go Gnabry because he played through the middle. I think he's the best shout going forward, and then go for a defensive just for the double. Like, as it goes into left back, I'd go then, but I'd want to see him against Portugal first because it's hard to tell against France.
Okay, just quickly, has anyone got anyone else that they really like from Germany that they would bring in instead?
No.
No.
Yeah, Gnabry's he's the big one. I think he's going to be everyone's like last day option captaincy. Maybe Muller as well. We know he likes a goal, so
yeah. Autoreclose also asks, oh god, this is an impossible question. What Dutch assets will play in North Macedonia match? Angus, I'm going to give you the impossible question.
Thank you. I will say Dumfries, Wijnaldum, and I think if he plays, he could be a great pick in Doniel Marlon, and I think he might well play. So I'll say him.
Okay. Right, Rob. Denmark best team. Denmark the best team to attack with for game week 3. Potential best team that will need a result for game week 3.
We didn't really touch on it in the reviews. Joachim Mahler, the left back, he impressed me all afternoon today.
Wasn't he?
Like, I think he had 3 shots on target as well. He's a lock in my team, I think, for match day 3. I think there's a whole waiting to happen there. It'll be a shame if it doesn't happen because, I think it probably could have came. If it doesn't come in match day 3, then it might have actually probably came in match day 1. He's definitely someone. Paulson and Braithwaite got themselves about and put the pressure on. I'd probably back one of them as my budget forward option. But that would probably be it after those two. I'd want to shop around a little bit more amongst the rest of the players.
Okay, clean sheet week wipe out asks early thoughts on possible mass rotation in game week 3. Belgium, Italy, Holland already through, and I expect England and France will be there after games 2. I guess the best way to answer this is how do we plan for that, and what do we do with regard to? Is it a case of we avoid those teams, or is it that we just take a guess? Jamie, what do you think?
Are any of you wildcarding for match day 3?
I probably will be.
Probably.
So before then, Zach, can I just ask you a question regarding that? What's your plan then for the round of 16 after your unlimited chances? Are you spreading your eggs, or are you just going to punt on teams you think will qualify? What's your plan?
I'll probably do a bit of both, to be honest with you. I'll probably go with the teams. It depends what matches. Let's say it's, I don't know, Italy versus Ukraine. Yeah, randomly. I don't know if they can play each other, but if it's Italy versus Ukraine, I'll probably go 3 Italians. if it's the tougher games, maybe, I don't know, Portugal and Spain, I probably won't choose anyone from them. So that's kind of what my plan was. I might choose one. If it's like a tough game like Portugal and Spain, I might go one of each or something like that. But then we've got like 3 transfers from last 16 to quarterfinals, and then from the quarterfinals, I think there's 3 and then 5 and then 5. So I think there is enough to kind of maneuver. That's my initial thoughts. I don't know,
Yeah.
Rob, what was yours?
Yeah, I'll be very similar. Like, trying to pick out 3 or 4 teams that I really want to back going into the round of 16, and then I'll just steam into those 3 or 4 teams, and then try and pick some value out from them as well. So like, not try like. So you might not be going for the best fantasy options, but they might be better options in the long run, moving forward. So steam into 3 or 4, and then with the tighter games. So like if England it's likely England will play either Portugal or Germany in the round of 16. I'd probably like take one of each. I'd probably be more inclined to double or triple up on England against Germany than I would Portugal. Or is it the other way around? No, Portugal than Germany. And I'd really back England to. I think they'd beat either of them anyway, but I'd want to hedge my bets a little bit in ties like that. But not try and get bogged down if you get 2 lesser teams against each other, so a runners up versus a third in the group somewhere, because then you could end up with like 2 or 3 players from a team that go out and like have to really struggle in the quarterfinals. So it's just I think it's a bit of planning and having a look at how the draw works out once it's done. Which once match day 3 is over, I know we'll probably do a bit of a bumper podcast, because we'll do it on a night that there isn't a game playing, to really get into the knockouts and try and pave our way through.
See, that's where I don't like about match day 3. If we knew the lineups, I'd 100% use the wild card then, because you know what you're getting. But with us not knowing, I just feel it's a waste of a chip.
I mean,
I'm not saying you are wrong, by the way. This is just my thinking. I think it's a waste, because if you get it wrong with your predictions on that wild card, you're having a shit game week there and 3. You've then got no wild card for the quarterfinals, so you're kind of playing a bit safe in the round of 16.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
Where I'm just going to accept I'm probably going to have a shit game week in match day 3, but I'm going to pile into the last 16, because it doesn't matter if I get the decisions wrong, because then I'm just going to wild card in the quarterfinals then and go from there. I'm not saying that's the right decision, but that's the way I'm going to go.
I think that it's there's lots of pros and cons to it, where it's about, I think it's ultimately like how you are as a fantasy football manager, in how you want to play it. So I wouldn't say there's a wrong. Like you said, it's not a wrong way. There's not a right way of going about it. I might change my mind between now and Saturday night, and I might
I
not
like
press
the
the
fact
button.
that there is different options, though. Some of the community will go your way, some will go the same way as me, and that will separate quite a lot of people, and it's probably going to define your tournament, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if it goes completely wrong for me after the game week that I'm having right now, I'm completely out of it then.
No takeaways for you.
Oh, just eat. I need up my game. I need Kane to fire tomorrow.
It's an interesting one, but I think as we get into as we sort of get out of tomorrow's games, not tomorrow's games, out of being like next Wednesday's games, the knockout stages really be taking shape as well. So I think you've got more time to plan for the round of 16 and to try and as I said, pave your way there. But there's also like we know that now that there's price changes that have been happening, and I've got a cheeky plan to see if it works. To wildcard on Saturday night before the price changes happen, bring in a load of players that have returned, like Dumfries, and try and pick up a cheeky point. Well, I think Dumfries will probably be a 0.2 rise off him. So that can work as well with the wild card, but you'd get that as well in the after the group stages. You have that opportunity to catch some price rises, but that just gives you that extra. If you can catch them, I think it, and if it works, I'm not even sure whether it would work in this game like it does in FPL. It could give you that extra sort of 0.5 to 1 million to be spending on your round of 16 wildcard, and then moving forward where we know that the assets are just going to get more and more expensive really as you move into the knockouts, but just by the sheer nature of who they play for and who they are.
Yeah.
Right, we've got another question from David. I think there's only one or two left. Will Lukaku be benched, do you think? Benteke Batshuayi could have a field day against Finland. Angus?
Yes, so that was going to be my sort of punt tip for match day 3 was going to be Christian Benteke. Everyone loves a bit of Christian Benteke, and with the likelihood that Lukaku would be benched, I think it would. I feel pretty sure that it would be Benteke over Batshuayi. I don't see like how it could be Batshuayi unless Roberto Martinez loves Michy Batshuayi, or Michy Batshuayi has compromising pictures of Roberto Martinez. So
I feel like that's another meme, David.
So I think, particularly given that we think the likes of De Bruyne and Eden Hazard could start, if Benteke is the one starting up top, that could actually go really well for him. So I think Benteke could actually be a decent punt option for match day 3.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's nice and cheap as well. I think I don't know what his price is, but it kind of like with other players. I can see there being a lot of value teams out there, and I think match day 3, like we've seen match day 1 and 2, they've been very much a template of sort of 7, 8, 9 players out of the 15 that are very similar amongst the Twitter community. But I think match day 3, we're going to see some fantastic punty teams where people are trying to gain rank, and because it's the last real week to attack. Because once you get into the knockouts, you're really just defending all the way through, because you're just making sure you've got 11 players by the final, really, aren't you? So it's the last real, unless you're Jamie and you can really attack the round of 16 as well. It's that last opportunity to really attack for a lot of people. So I think it's going to be a really, from a fantasy point of view, it's going to be really interesting seeing. There'll be some really high scores. I think there'll be some god awful scores as well.
Right, that's all the questions covered. I've had a look back. Rob, you really enjoyed doing the wrap up last time, so I'll let you do the wrap up. Any additional things that we need to talk about? When the next stream is, all of that jazz? I'll let you do it.
So the next stream is on Saturday evening at the culmination of match day 2, where we have got from the FPL game week. I'm going to have to check who the second person is. So the first person we've got coming in is Llama, who's obviously the top guy with the FPL game week. Some of you may have watched him, I think, on Thursdays. They're generally live every Thursday with a stream. And then we've got I've forgotten what her name was. It's Mel, Miss Mel. Who is quite active within their Discord community. I believe she's an Arsenal fan from Canada. that she's going to be joining us as well. We're going to do a very quick.
Melina.
That's it, Melina.
Yeah.
Quick summary of match day 2, but the main focus is going to be on match day 3. We're going to just do a preview of each game, kind of like how we did the other evening. We'll hopefully have some almost locked in wildcard teams to show you. Although they I think Sunday's games, the first kickoffs not till 5 o'clock, so there'll still be a long way off. And yeah, that's about it. It'll be our fourth live stream, with another 2 to come next week, before we head into the knockout phases.
Yeah, where we'll be bringing back some representatives, right?
Yeah, I don't know who it's going to. At one moment, we thought it would be Nilo coming back to represent Finland. We'll see how that goes for him. At the end of the day, I think it'll be more fun if we bring back the reps from the lesser nations, because I think they'll be buzzing going into the round of 16. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think it's like at the moment it just looks like I think the only person locked in would be James, the Italian rep. I think they're the only fully confirmed.
On Netherlands.
And Belgium.
no.
No, Netherlands and Belgium.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of them are fully confirmed. So yeah, it could be one of those 3, but we might hold them off until the quarterfinals.
Right, Jamie and Angus, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Did you have fun?
Yeah, really good laugh. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
nice.
definitely.
I would say, like, we'll come on to one of your podcasts about the championships, but I know fuck all about the championships. I wouldn't offer much.
That's
Neither
your
do
point
we.
for listening to us, Sham. We'll help you.
Right, to the listeners and to the viewers, thank you very much for listening to us or watching us tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe and retweet, as always, and we will catch you on Saturday for our live stream at 10 o'clock. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye.